The truck in front of us may have only suffered a slight overload, but unfortunately the rear axle was directly broken due to the pressure. In order to deliver the goods to the destination as quickly as possible, the owner contacted a nearby repair shop to have the rear axle welded and repaired. Replacing a new one is not only very expensive, but also requires waiting for several days. In this rush, welding directly is the fastest method. Under the skilled operation of the mechanic, the broken rear axle was quickly dismantled. At this time, the truck was still 2 kilometers away from the repair shop. To prevent the owner from waiting too long on the roadside, the mechanic arrived at the repair shop in just 2 minutes, ready to repair the rear axle within an hour. In the case of the broken balance rod, the mechanic first needs to weld the rear axle. Before the formal processing, the mechanic needs to mark the axle head and the rear axle mainly to facilitate the restoration of the axle head after confirming no errors. The axle head is fixed on the lathe chuck. For the splicing of such rear axles, they not only need to measure the concentricity of the axle head with a scribe, but also need to turn the broken surface to create a bevel, increasing the welding area. After completing the machining of the axle, head spliced holes, machine oil is applied to the surface of the round steel before docking, allowing the round steel to be completely hammered into the bottom of the hole. Due to the precise data control by the mechanic, even hitting with a coconut hammer is very difficult. After hammering 80 times, the processed axle head is completed. Next, the rear axle needs to be processed similarly. Since the rear axle is very large, it can only be fixed on their large lane. The rear is supported using a center frame to assist in measuring the rear axle's concentricity with a scribe to ensure that the axle head is concentric in coaxial. With the rear axle, they also need to drill holes using the same number drill bits based on the outer diameter data of the spliced round steel and process the holes to the same size. The fracture happens to be at the same location as the last welding, so the entire fracture surface needs to be cut off to make it smooth. Then another round steel is processed accordingly. Although the length of the balance rod can be appropriately shortened, it cannot be cut to the point where it cannot be used at all. After drilling positioning holes on the entire axle, the two can be joined concentrically. After simple fixation, the weld is applied to the beveled portion with welding rods, although it does not have the same reinforcement as the axle shaft splicing. But it doesn't have to withstand that kind of torque, which is also why the mechanic used a simple method for splicing. Although the repair has reached the evening, the mechanic also gave the owner a discount of 1,000 rupees. So the broken rear axle has been welded and repaired.